Coach Ritchie McKay joins the Marching to Madness College Basketball Podcast. His Liberty Flames check in with a 12-1 record after impressive wins as they go on the road to Seattle and then against Kansas State and McNeese State on back-to-back games in the Virgin Islands. Coach McKay has 397 wins in 23 seasons at 5 different institutions. Coach, it's good to see you back on.
Ken, how are you doing?
Doing great, doing great. You have 8 players in such a balanced scheme. They average from 7.1 points to 14.2 points per game. Caden Matheny checks in as your leading scorer.
Yeah, Caden's a terrific player. But as you mentioned, I think what's nice about this group is they play in such a way that you can sense their appreciation for one another and how connected they are. We really, and I've said this from the onset, we really got probably 7 starters,
Yeah.
and I think some of the guys that come off the bench star in their roles. So it's a good group to coach. It's kind of hard because if you're prepping for us, like we could have any one of those 7, maybe even 8, be our leading scorer. So that obviously we feel like that gives us a chance on most nights.
Now, Matheny's a three-baller. He shoots 44.2% from three, his highest three-point average in 5 seasons as he came over from Bowling Green a couple of years ago. He has the penchant for making multiple baskets from the perimeter, as does your team.
Yeah, Caden can really shoot it, but we have a room full of guys that are fairly proficient behind the arc. It's something that I think we try and take advantage of if that's what the defense is giving us. But Ken, there's nights because we've had a reputation of being a 3-point shooting team. There's nights when if teams take that away, I think this group has a chance to penalize you in other ways as well. So I think it's a balanced team. We like what we've done so far, but we're heading into the best conference Liberty men's basketball has ever participated in. Conference USA is terrific this year, and I do think there's 5, maybe 6 teams that could end up winning our conference tournament and advancing to the NCAA tournament.
When you structure your three-point offense for a season, how does that change from season to season? And then really this year, as you shot 39% over the first 13 dates.
Yeah, I mean, Ken, I think like all coaches, we're not married to this system or that system, at least on the offensive end. We really are just trying to evaluate and discern like what is this team's best strength and then try and take advantage of some of those strengths on the offensive end. And again, I think a lot of it is the way the defense is playing us and being able to diagnose that. And I just think our guys they've got a familiarity with one another, and the character of our group, I think it lends for decent offense because they really don't care who scores. They're just trying to be hard to play against.
The post is really strong for you with Zach Cleveland and Isaiah Ionen, a pair of forwards who are complementary players as Ionen shoots 69.8% from 2 while finding 1.3 triples per game.
Yeah, he's been terrific for us, Ken. He's a little banged up at the moment. So we're not sure just when we're going to get him back. But he's a transfer from Minnesota. He's a veteran. Like he's been in college for going on this is his 5th year. So I think he adds a ton to our team on both ends. And then Zach Cleveland, who was a first team preseason all conference player. I think he was second team last year. His game continues to improve. It's a really tough matchup because he can score, he can play make, he kind of has a little bit of point forward to him, and then he's a really good defender. So you didn't mention Owen Aquino, who is our junior college transfer. I'm sure Ken, knowing you, he was next. But Owen Owen adds, he complements that front line really well. We have a couple of guys off the bench that, again, as I mentioned earlier, that really star in their role. So it's a formidable front line, and I think as we continue uh, to improve in our defensive assignments, commitments, I think we could even be a little better.
I was going to mention Owen next.
I know your
You
work,
know
man.
me well. Hey, he had a 28-point night against North Carolina A&T. How might his game as a starter be different on the inside with the way he creates matchups?
Owen's just he's originally from Madrid, Spain. He's just one of those players that he plays winning basketball. Owen, he could shoot 2 times in a game, and if the team wins, his disposition would be no different than if he went 28 and 12 like the other night. So again, I think Owen's person is what's most significant to our cause. He's tough-minded. Like he's a terrific rebounder, defender. He actually can really shoot it. So I just think the more clicks he gets in our system and with his teammates, I think the better he's going to be.
When you go with Owen, Zach, and Isaiah, they're a really nice triplicate in the paint. Based on the games that they have played, do you ever constitute one as the probable first option based on what they each can do? And then how would you be a first option? Does it depend on who you're playing against?
Yeah, Ken, we don't like again. We're going to take what the defense gives us, and we've seen a ton of different defenses. I think when your group is we're less sets oriented and more conceptual. Again, I just think it's trying to find what we can take advantage of, and so there's no hey, it's tonight's your night, or there's none of that going into the game. It usually happens just our guys diagnosing it and the flow of it.
I saw a post as I was doing my study on your team in sharing the victory. And I saw your wife, Julie, in the post. I just wondered, how has she been an intricate part of your coaching career?
Yeah, 34 going on 35 years, Ken. She's an unbelievable woman. She's the godliest woman that I know, and I wouldn't be where I am today without her. Not only is she my wife, but my best friend. She's the mother of our children. She's saintly. She really is. And I think all coaches have a great appreciation, if not admiration, for their spouses because of the sacrifices they make, the multitude of days, weeks, months that we're not there. And sometimes we might be there physically, but not present emotionally. So I think there's a taxation in relationships when you choose this vocation. But I think our faith has been as what's helped us to continue to grow and connect. And yeah, she's the real all-star of our family.
Great point guard there, Colin Porter, second in Conference USA in assists with 4.4 per game. What are some qualities that allows him to run your offense and be a defensive motor? He averages 28.3 minutes per contest.
Yeah, Colin was terrifically well coached. Jason Mays coached him at Ashland High School in Kentucky, and man, I mean, he's just one of those guys, Ken, that he's got a pass first mentality, but he can really shoot it, score it. He's a better finisher than he's ever been, and what's neat about him, he'll do whatever it takes for the team to win. I'll give you an example. He was the MVP of the tournament that we played in, the Paradise Gym in the Virgin Islands, which is a terrific tournament.
Mhm.
And the next game, I can't remember who we played, but he literally took one shot. So I just think I mean, if I'm the MVP, which I wasn't ever, I'm probably feeling pretty good about myself and trying to live for that praise or that applause, as most people sometimes tend to slant towards, but that's not Colin. Colin, is he wants to make everybody better. He wants to keep them happy. He wants to get them involved, and he would deflect the praise much more than he would covet it.
You look at the faith-based culture at Liberty, how can it be a strong influence in your program?
Well, I think that's what's unique about being at Liberty. Just and by no means are we perfect. I don't think any place is. But I do think there's a consistency that you would recognize that would be fairly evident for the longer your duration in Lynchburg, a part of our campus, the more evident your experience would be. There's a pursuit of excellence that is unique. I mean, I'm talking from the security staff to the groundskeepers to the deans. Our administration is fabulous. Our new president, Don DeCostin, and our chancellor, Jonathan Falwell. And we have, in my mind, the best athletic director. If he's not number one, he's in that top five, and Ian McCaw. So I just think there's a united purpose. Our mission is to train champions for Christ, but I just think again we recognize that, and like the biggest driver of relationship is love, and I think there's a spirit of sacrifice and in unity there that's really uncommon on a lot of campuses or in a lot of work settings.
I just wanted to say, faith has pulled me through, gosh, a really tough divorce. You know about my accident here in Florida. I have a lot more faith every day, I feel like.
That's great, Ken. I love hearing that.
Hey, going back to Conference USA, 10 teams, 9 states. It has been a premium stop for squads in the last few years. Now, with those 10 teams, how does it affect you in managing games at different sites and potentially different teams? And then based on the fact, you were talking earlier about the depth of the league this season.
Yeah, well, we're still finding our way. I mean, last year we came into the league with the highest non-conference net ranking, and we started the league 0-3 and finished 7-9 and in fourth place. So we got a wake up call in terms of just how hard this league is, not only from a talent and how well coached it is, but just the travel and the difficulty in winning in other venues. So I think there's some getting used to it. Kennesaw is new to our league this year, but we're very familiar with Kennesaw because we shared the same conference in the ASUN. But I just think the quality of basketball makes it even more competitive. I mean, we already talked about Coach Manola at Western Kentucky, and Coach McDevitt, who I'm really familiar with. He's a good friend. He's a fabulous coach. They have an incredibly talented team. I mean, if you saw their game against Tennessee, I think they led 46-42 at half against arguably the best team in the country. I think Joe Golding at UTEP does a fabulous job. They are as good defensively, and they've got a unique system that you'll find. I want to say they're leading the nation in turnovers created. Then Ray Harper is the winningest coach in our league, and no one talks about them, but they're really good. Coach Petway is doing a terrific job at Kennesaw. I know I'm going to miss someone. Chris Mudge at Sam Houston, and the league favorite, the preseason league favorite, with the preseason player of the year, La Tech. Talvin Hesser's done a fabulous job there. And if you haven't seen Daniel Bacho play, you're missing out. I think he's in the top 5 in the country in individual win shares. That talks about how he impacts both ends of the floor, and their guard Newman is terrific too. So I know how hard and arduous of a task this will be, and I think for us we would be wise or prudent to just just focus on getting better on a daily basis.
Last thing, Coach, the Hilltoppers that we mentioned come over Thursday night. They're 9-4, a good offensive team as well, with Don McHenry leading them in double figures at 18.5 points per game.
Yeah, they're good on both ends. They have multiple defenses, different coverages. Their tempo is fantastic. Again, Coach Manola is doing a great job. We talked a little bit off air on that. And their game against Michigan the other night, a little deceptive because Michigan is explosive.
Yeah.
And Western's been a little banged up. Christian Lander didn't play. Their big fella, I think it's pronounced Phi, didn't play. He's really good. And then they're backup big. So I think I'm sure they'll be ready for Thursday. And if not, once they are ready, like he's got a team that will definitely contend for the league title.
Coach Ritchie McKay, the flicker and flame of those Liberty Flames. Good basketball team, great coach. Always enjoy you coming on, Coach, and I wish you the best of luck in Conference USA.
Yeah, Ken, appreciate all you do for college basketball, man. You are one of those that really studies it hard, and it's always great being on with you.
Thanks so much.